I think this fella is a fair step ahead.
And they're off. Shareholder moving through now. Heading up to the line. It's Shareholder to win the Norfolk. Shareholder in front.
Fantastic performance at Ascot.
First, Shareholder.
He's filled his frame, he's maturing.
Well, how exciting for Wathnan Racing that Shareholder has a huge chance of winning the Prix Morny, the big Group 1 2-year-old race at Deauville that takes place on Sunday. Shareholder is trained for Wathnan by Karl Burke. It's time to check in with Karl now and just find out how Shareholder's been getting on since his brilliant triumph at Royal Ascot. How is he, Karl?
Yeah, he's in great form. We're going there, we think, with a big live chance. Obviously we gave him some time off after Ascot because he'd had a pretty hectic schedule leading into Ascot with being prepped for the breeze, and then it was all a little bit rushed, but he came through that and took it well mentally, and he's continued to thrive since.
You mentioned that. Just tell me a little bit about him as a character, because from everything you've described, it seems he can take an awful lot that comes his way. Talk to me a little bit about him as an individual.
When he arrived, he was a little bit on the edgy side, a little bit fussy around his head and things like that. And no disrespect to anybody who'd handled him before, but he was just he'd had a bit of a tough time, I suppose, going into the breeze. And he's definitely relaxed more the longer he's been here. And I think his run style as well sort of showed that, when they're being prepped for the breeze, as they're prepped to sort of breeze over 2 or 3 furlongs, and it's a lot different in a race. You've got to get into a relaxed rhythm and finish your race off well. And first time out at Beverley, he was very much the former. He was a breeze up horse and raced with the choke out for most of the race, and then had to be gutsy at the end of it. But I think that Trojan showed a bit of character of the horse.
It is Shareholder who has got the lead as they hit the line. Shareholder on the near side.
Genuinely, in your heart of hearts, and you've handled some very good 2-year-olds, what sort of confidence did you carry into Royal Ascot? Because everybody with an unbeaten, once raced one has to say, yeah, I really fancy them. What in your heart of hearts did you really feel going into the Royal meeting?
I thought he was. I thought he had a great chance. I thought whatever beat him was going to be a very good horse on the day.
It is Shareholder from Tropical Storm, Arizona Blaze, Whistle Jacket, and Asterion heading up to the line. It's Shareholder to win the Norfolk.
He improved a lot for his first run, as you'd expect, and he's a beautiful animal, and he's a great physique to him, and powerful back end, powerful forearm, powerful hind leg. He's all there. So we were, the signs were good, and I was pretty confident going into Ascot.
And they're off, and Shareholder broke very slowly.
And when he won at Beverley on his debut, as you say, there was an awful lot he did wrong. I think he even jumped a shadow, didn't he?
He actually jumped shadow off the line, but bizarrely it probably helped us, because as he jumped, he took off just before the line, and his head was coming down on the line, and it probably was the photograph, to be fair. So that was probably a little bit fortunate, but that just shows, to me anyway, that he wasn't at full speed because he could see the shadow or the cut of the grass at the line. So he probably, he was still taking things in, which is a sign that there's a little bit left in the tank.
He's got a fascinating pedigree. He's by an American stallion, Not This Time, who himself was from one of the last crops of the Great Giant's Causeway. But it's a very, very long established old English pedigree underneath. So I guess you've got the best of both worlds. I wonder what it tells you about what his future's likely to be beyond 6 furlongs in the Morny.
Yeah, I must confess I hadn't heard of the sire until I got hold of this fella, so I can't say I know too much about him, but he was obviously a decent racehorse himself, and apparently he's doing very well in America as well as this fella over here in Europe. The sire was a miler, or certainly stayed a mile. I can see this fella. I'd be very, very disappointed if he doesn't stay the 6 very well on Sunday. a lot will depend mentally how he goes forward and how he relaxes. If we can get him into a real relaxed state at the racetrack and learn it and teach him to use his speed at the end of a race, then I can see him getting further. But I'd be guessing whether, at this stage, I'd be totally guessing whether he can stay a mile. 6 is what we're concentrating on at the moment.
A lot of people say, you can have pedigree, you can have physique, but it's between the ears that's the most important thing. They've got to want to win for you, to want to do it. Is what you've seen from him, redolent of that kind of character, a horse that wants to win?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I'd say that is one of his biggest assets at the moment, as well as physique. He looks like a horse that he loves to run. So, everything he's shown us at home, and at the Breeze when he went to the Sale, and his 2 races, especially the first race where he could have been beaten sort of 4 or 5 times in the last furlong, but he stuck his head out to win. So, no, I don't think character is any problem with this horse.
And of course, you've won the Prix Morny. Not only have you won it, you went there with a couple of horses and finished first and second. Unfortunately, and the horse who's now proven to be a brilliant stallion, Havana Grey. Does this horse bear comparison with those horses?
Perfectly honest, I think this fella is a fair step ahead of those 2 going into the Morny. I'm not just saying it because we're here now, but I'd have to say as a racehorse, Shareholder's probably got more class and more ability.
And he's now got to go and get it done on Sunday at Deauville. Karl, all the best. I hope you come back a Group 1 winner, and that is a sign of things to come.
Thanks, Nick. Fingers crossed.